why do you start? Because you said you had no resource throughout your therapy. So where was your family throughout this entire space? Like when you're going through this healing process, where's your family? Because you said like I didn't have a resource.
Well, what I meant by resource, I didn't realize what mental health was. I didn't realize um, what depression really was. I didn't know really what CTE, concussion, the ramifications of concussions. I didn't know what all that was. And my parents, they knew I had an experience, but they didn't have an access of how they could communicate with me. We didn't have a relationship from that standpoint, which I could feel comfortable talking to them about what I was actually going through, the fear and so forth. That vulnerability, that wasn't accessible for me. So I was basically going through the experience I call it cold turkey, like just not knowing these
Yeah.
concepts, but just finding my way um, and staying positive and using whatever I could to inspire me, to motivate me to keep going. And like I mentioned, I had highs, lows, I had wins, losses, um, in different moments. But I stayed the course. And even to this day, I stay the course and I keep going, holding that intention.
So how do you actually deal with the depression? Because you're really depressed for quite a while. And what were the things that you did that made you realize, or that made the doctor realize that you're kind of going through something, you're depressed? Were you like, was the house always like black, like windows always closed, like you didn't want to see anybody, or like you started eating a lot, started becoming so much more reclusive than what you would have been in the first instance?
Well, many of those things I did, many of those things, and what I would do again, the intention is, how do I stay the course? How do I keep my mind together through this process? And I just started looking for things that being more inspiring. And one of the things that I found myself doing, I read a book, The Art of Loving, um, which was a profound book for me to really help me self-reflect. Um, Again, meditation was a thing. Um, Fasting was a thing. Detoxifying my body was a thing. Mental detoxification was a thing.
Hmm.
And then also visualization, realizing, seeing myself being well, seeing myself uh, cultivate certain relationships after I would move from this experience, wherever I was. And so those are the things that I converted to help me, um, you know, keep it moving.
Yeah. So were you ever suicidal at any point?
Of course, like again, the losses look like a lot of different things. The losses look like that depression. The losses look like in that mental state of, why do I want to be here? I think you can really think yourself into whatever you desire to. And that's why it's important to have a mind practice. And what a mind practice can do for you is help you hone your thinking, uh, directionalize your thinking from the standpoint of more constructive thought into less unconstructive thought. And so with meditation, it begins to be my medicine in that sense to
Hmm.
deal with those things.
And then you started going out a bit more, and then I think that's start going out a bit more. And I know it's hard, but no, at some time start going out a bit more, not too much, but start hanging around people. It kind of gets you out of the funk. And uh,
Well, for me, I was just, again, I stayed more so in the isolation for a while. The people, you know, it's a certain type of person. I think that when you're in those moments, it's probably in a lot of cases better to be alone, um, because the people, if you put random people in your life that can regurgitate the trauma, it can trigger the trauma, It can, you know, a lot of times people are toxic. Even relationships that we have with people are toxic, even whether it be mother and fathers, you know, unresolved issues. So a lot of times, to keep the purity of it, I suggest you be alone, but you have a mind practice while you're alone. You're not just alone with no tools. You're developing and questioning and staying intentional with your, you know, the things that you're doing, your thoughts, you're protecting those thoughts. Yeah, I think those give you the ample opportunity to rebuild and rehabilitate, because it's a rehabilitation practice that we're dealing with. And when you talk about yoga, yoga is this union, mind, body, spirit. So it's really not this concept that the world sees it as. Yoga is you. It's just what happens when you bring all of you together, where you get yoga. You know, it's can I walk and chew gum at the same time? Can I stand in crucial moments and breathe at the same time? Can I have patience and have difficult conversations at the same time? That's really all yoga is. And it's a preparation for being in those types of adverse conflicts, confrontational type moments. And what you'll find is a lot of us don't have the skill set or the tools to do so. But that's what relationships are. That's what politics is. That's what having real conversations require. And this is why we're in the predicament, in my opinion, that you see in our world, because we're not equipped from a maturity perspective. We're not mature enough to have real conversations.
Yeah, I agree. But I think Twitter is one of those places where I've seen where people, firstly, unrealistic expectations, and then you can't really actually have a conversation on Twitter. Like, if you're against whatever's popular at that moment, it's like you're either getting canceled, or no one really wants to have an actual conversations. Like, it's either it's our way, you guys don't want to hear the other side. It's like now with like vaccines, like you got anti-vaxxers and then you've got people that are pro-vaccine. Like, the people that are pro-vaccine don't want to hear what the anti-vaxxers have to say. The people that are anti-vaxxers also don't want to hear what the people that are pro-vaxxers are saying. So it kind of creates that it creates more of a drift in our society more than us coming together. And Twitter, most of the time, the algorithm is based, if you're gonna like the thing or retweet something, it's gonna show you more of the same thing. That's why you're thinking most of the people share your reviews.
Right.